Hello there, this is Elora, and I'm a prequel trilogy kid.
And this is Dave, and I'm an original trilogy kid. And you're listening to What Does Star Wars Mean to You? The show where we talk to all kinds of fans of the franchise, from industry insiders to indie artists, from obsessive mythologists to mega collectors, all for one goal, to take the hate out of the debate by focusing on one fan at a time to find out what does Star Wars mean to you. Plus, it's just fun to chat Star Wars.
Yeah. Welcome to our Cantina Chatter. Dave and I deep dive on our favorite aspects of our guest interviews and discuss what's interesting in the world of Star Wars to us this week.
That's right.
Kicking things off with what Star Wars meant to Tyler from Beyond the Cinema.
Yes, last week we had Tyler. He's a practical effects diehard. For May 4th, 2026, he created his own practical effects starship chase scene featuring Mando's Razor Crest and a couple helpless TIE fighters. And yeah, his passion for practical effects was palpable. He was surrounded by all the stuff he made, like props and guns, and I think they're all props. I now know that I started out saying, like, I want to say three things, and when I hit props,
Helmets?
I covered all three things.
Helmets?
Helmets, yes.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
costume, so that's different, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, very talented guy, and it was a lot of fun to talk to him. One of the things that stood out for me, he made a comment that he wanted to see more non-fans make Star Wars content. You know, that I agree with that. I'd like to see... Yeah. I think I'm going to phrase it slightly different. I don't think the person's fandom for the IP they're working on makes a difference to their ability to make great IP within, or a great content within the IP. I like Tony Gilroy, famously not a fan of Star Wars, said he wanted people who didn't really know Star Wars to be working on Star Wars. And arguably, he made some of the best Star Wars in recent years, or at least the most, like, popular.
I think, too, important for the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you know,
It's
a good commentary on the times. Extremely relevant. Yeah, when Tyler said that, I kind of had a moment of, it was like a light bulb. I was like, oh, right. That, like, because I don't know, I guess I don't really focus in on who's a fan so much that's, like, creating the world of Star Wars. I should.
Yeah.
I'm more just interested in the product and the overall, like, thread of the story and everything.
Yes.
And when he said that, something clicked into focus, and he's right.
Yeah,
like,
he's
oftentimes the fans actually don't know what they want.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And the other thing is, I think, look, when George Lucas was making Star Wars in 1977, Harrison Ford wasn't a fan of it. Mark Hamill wasn't a fan of it. Carrie Fisher wasn't. I mean, they were fans in the sense that it's like, oh, we have a job. We're working.
Well, yeah, it was paid. They were being paid to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, they were being paid to be actors. But they weren't necessarily fans, and they made a great movie. Yeah. So, like, when The Acolyte came out, and the actor who played Yord was doing PR, and he accidentally said, I don't know if he accidentally said it or not, but he essentially said
it.
Yeah, he said it. When Anakin blew up the Death Star, and everyone was like, oh, I can't believe he doesn't know that Anakin, blah, that's Luke. And it's like, guys, it's okay. He doesn't need to be a fan to portray a character within the world.
I think Tyler called that out too, and he said something to the effect of it being the best performance from his point of view in Acolyte. And I think that's an interesting... I think it's an interesting thing. I think that there's something to be said about having passion for the art that you're making and pouring that into it. But I think when you're talking about something that has franchised in the way, become folklore, to use our own term.
Yes.
In the way that Star Wars has, I think sometimes if you have cooks in the kitchen that are too in love with it, it blinds like the ability to create something new within it.
Yes.
Because you're trying to honor the thing that you love. I think that was the overall intention behind his message. Yeah. I also loved Tyler's just infectious love for making things. He did a shout out to the series on Disney Plus for Industrial Light and Magic. I don't know. I don't know if anyone listening to this right now needs that recommendation. I would hope that most folks are already aware of that piece of work.
Yes.
But if you haven't watched it, it's really worth the watch. It is. It's incredible what you can make with, trash. I mean, so much of it, like, truly, like, I loved how much he was like, when he was talking about his Christmas present from his girlfriend,
the lightsaber,
and his and his family, the lightsaber kit. All the components are just like pieces of other things that you might consider garbage, but when you put them all together, they just they look gritty and they look perfect for film. And I also loved his attention to detail, that like the best props and the best effects in Star Wars look dirty. They are beat to hell. They're covered in dust.
They're used.
And that's what makes Star Wars to him.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Thank you for joining us, Tyler. That was very fun.
Yeah, that was. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard it, you should go back and listen to it.
Yeah. If you're sitting here like, oh, this guy sounds cool, which he is, you should go listen to his interview. This week in the Datapad, we were...
I don't know why I felt like it needed that music. It doesn't. Go on.
No, I think it does. I think it's forever the theme song to the Datapad. So the first Star Wars movie, we were inspired. The first Star Wars movie that Tyler saw in theaters was Force Awakens. In our canon here at...
Can I just do an old man thing and be like, The Force Awakens was the first movie in 2014, the first Star Wars movie he saw in theaters. He was born. He became a Star Wars fan. There was no Star Wars in theaters until 20... Oh, my God. Yeah. Sorry. No, I just wanted to lay the groundwork for that.
Well, so I was going to say, you're an original trilogy kid. You saw the original trilogy in theaters. I'm a prequel trilogy kid. I can't recall, and neither can my family, if I saw Phantom in theaters. I was only 6 years old, so I'm not 100%. I do know that I wore out the VHS at home. Yes. Like, I'm aware of that. But I don't recall if I saw that one in theaters. I do remember seeing Attack of the Clones when I was 9. I very, very viscerally remember that. Again, prequels in theaters. I think it's very lovely that we are now at a time where we can have such creative and fun and in-depth Star Wars conversations with the sequel trilogy kids.
Yes, yes.
That's a very exciting phase of Star Wars fandom.
Yes. The next evolution.
Yes, the next evolution, actually. Perfect segue. We've touched on it a little before. We thought it'd be fun to deep dive the world of 2015 leading into the premiere of The Force Awakens in December of 2015 and the landscape around that.
Well, one of the things I thought immediately about was The Force Awakens was Disney's first movie. They had Rebels on in 2014, but even that first, second, third season of Rebels wasn't heralded the way it is now. I think it was very popular, but I don't think it touches what it has become. And then, of course, this is the very first Star Wars Disney is doing after paying, I don't know, $4.5 billion, something like that for the franchise. So my immediate thought was let's look at some of the stuff that Disney was facing.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges and how did Disney rise above them? Is that the right? Do I want to say Disney and rise above in the same sentence?
I don't know. I don't know if you want to say that. But at the time, all we knew was that Star Wars was back for the first time in a decade.
Yes.
And it wasn't just the new Star Wars, like you said, it was the launch of the Disney Star Wars era.
Yeah. And one thing I just thought of was that there was the book, Chuck Wendig did a trilogy of books leading towards The Force Awakens that kind of filled the time a little bit between Star Wars, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Kind of bridged that gap.
Yes.
I think it's also important for us to touch on the fandom culture, maybe.
Yes.
In this particular period of time before the film came out, I don't think that the prequels had yet undergone like the cultural renaissance is what I called it in my notes that they enjoy today because, there was so much criticism for a lot of the acting in the prequel trilogy. There was a lot of criticism around the CGI, the dialogue and the romance. Jar Jar Binks got a lot of hate, not on this show, but in general. And I think that those who grew up, I can speak to a personal experience, grew up loving the prequels as a kid. We weren't really sharing that affection online. Like we hadn't joined that online conversation in the way that that we do today. And I think honestly, we took this out of our run sheet, but I think I'm just going to quickly mention it here because I do think it's relevant to that point. And you can cut this. But the internet was different. Like the algorithms that we play with today, the social platforms that we have today. I mean, hardly anyone was using Instagram. I'm sorry.
Yes. In 2015.
So we certainly didn't have TikTok. Like we were fans and they weren't hearing from us yet. This was almost an invitation to share our joy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big aspect of it. I think there was just this legacy or this feeling that the prequels were not quite Star Wars enough. And that was still kind of a little bit of the world's point of view. Like, this is what sure, there's a lot of people who are like, no, the prequels are good. But at the same time, the general consensus of the world, their last experience was Revenge of the Sith. And because there wasn't that kind of like joy in seeing it, and there was all this hate on the internet for it, that it just kind of petered out. I really feel like Star Wars kind of petered out with Revenge of the Sith.
Which is unfortunate because we recently saw it renew in theaters. And I was like, this was a better movie in theaters than I remembered. I mean, obviously, you've watched it 1,000 times at home, but like seeing it on the big screen, it's like a different film.
On big screen. It is completely different experience. I just think it's one of those things that it took a generation for everyone's expectations of what Star Wars is to kind of like subside a bit and be like, I'll just accept like what is being told as opposed to what are my expectations for it. And I think that expectations is one of that big thing that Disney faced. It's like, we have to make sure, I think it's kind of two-stepped. One was remind people why they love Star Wars. And reassure them this is going to be the Star Wars that they loved. And at the same time, make sure Star Wars was everywhere to make sure it was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. I mean, my God, what a task. Wouldn't want to be on that marketing team.
No.
What? Longtime fans, we're back. And it's what you love and it's what you remember. Also, hi, new generation, come join us in this galaxy. That is like, they were trying to get to everyone. That's like marketing 101 will tell you that's impossible.
But honestly, if anyone can do it, Disney does
Disney can.
Because they also own everything. One of the ways to get it everywhere was integrations out the wazoo. I mean, The Force Awakens was featured in 7 international brand integrations, including
crazy
CoverGirl and Max Factor. Remember they had the lightsaber makeup, I think? They had Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They're all part of one car company. Duracell, the battery. General Mills, Hewlett Packard, Subway, and Verizon. And when you look at ad categories, that covers all of them. Like
a lot of people.
Makeup, auto, food, quick service restaurant.
Phone service.
Phone service. And batteries. Batteries is always there.
Everyone needs batteries.
I don't even know I know the Phantom Menace had Pepsi, which included Taco Bell, KFC, whatever Pepsi owned. But still, like those, and you look at those brand integrations because they are CoverGirl and Max Factor, makeup. And then you've got General Mills, cereal, like more household, kid. You got cars, you got Subway, you got Verizon. Hewlett Packard, I don't get. But you also have...
They had some data point there that was worth it.
Did. The other thing that was coming out was PS4 Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
Which was a relaunch of Battlefront, I guess. I don't know. There's two Battlefront franchises. The one that came out in the aughts and the other ones that came out in the teens.
Yeah.
This relied heavily on nostalgia because the commercial was like a 30-year-old dude, like with an R2-D2 in his office. And he's like, you hear the twin sunset theme. And then he's like, "Oh, gee, I miss the past where my friend and I would just play Star Wars together." He doesn't say that. We see images of them as kids playing Star Wars together. And then
it's implied.
Yeah, it's implied. Look, this is an audio format. I need to say these things. And it ends with his friend showing up in an X-Wing, and the conceit is like, "Oh, we can connect on PS4, playing what we loved as children, war."
Yeah.
So I just kind of thought that was kind of funny. This nostalgic, like two friends who love each other, and at the end they're like, "Let's go to war together." I'm feeling feisty today, I think.
No, I think also it was a cultural thing at the time, the whole like playing together apart, which was ominous because that definitely became a thing later.
Yeah, 6 years later.
But it was pretty seamless. It didn't stand out other than the fact that it was Star Wars, I think is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And I think that
which made it exciting.
I mean, I was losing even at the CoverGirl commercials, I was like, "Oh my God, Star Wars is back."
Yeah.
And like Disney also leaned heavily on nostalgia. And I think these next three things were so nostalgic laced. And I'm going to tell you right now, I may sound cynical about it now, but back then I was all in. I was 100% I loved this. And maybe that's why I remember it.
Yeah.
Because the very first image they gave was a black and white still image of the script reading, where it was a long shot of this room where you had the three mains, Carrie, Harrison, and Mark, J.J. Abrams. You had the new cast. You had an R2-D2 sitting in the corner. And for me, this black and white image threw me back to like the 70s and early 80s, where you had the black and white images in newspapers of BTS, photographs. And then the next thing was the teaser trailer, which was, I mean, I think we'll talk more about it, but
both of those things are what got me back on Instagram. I'm not going to lie. No, truly, because I was like, oh shit, stuff's going down.
Stuff's happening. In that one, it's the second trailer. I thought it was the teaser trailer. I was wrong. It's the second trailer that ends with Han going, "Chewie, we're home," and that still gets me. Like, and not in like the way that it works in the movies, but in that trailer. Like, if that line was never in the movie and only in the trailer, I'd be like, "Yeah, good line."
Yeah.
And then the final piece that stood out for me was Kevin Smith doing a set tour, and when he left, he was like. He said he had tears of joy. And at the time, Kevin Smith was a big speaker for the geeks.
Yeah. I had a different experience to the kind of like on-ramp of The Force Awakens. I can't say I had a big Star Wars community around me. Certainly wasn't doing this show. Hadn't met you yet. Hadn't met our friends in the Star Wars universe yet. I was a very, like, private, like, it was my thing. I didn't really share it with anybody. My dad and my mom were, like, sending me articles and stuff. Like, we were excited as a family. But, like, I wasn't on Reddit. I wasn't joining the online conversation. I literally, unless I saw it in an ad on TV, or if I wasn't, like, actively following it on, like, Instagram or being sent an article, the only thing I did was, like, the stop freezing of the trailers once they came out. Like, definitely did that. But, like, I wasn't out there like digging through the noise to try to find like every little thing. Like, I actually didn't ever see this site visit that was like being promoted by Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Like that never hit me first. Like I saw it when we were putting this run sheet together, and I was like, I did not see this. This is the first time I'm watching this. And
which I think tracks a lot, because you're not of the Kevin Smith generation. I mean, I know you know who he is, but you're not someone who's gonna follow him. Like I feel like I grew up with him because he was 20 when I went to film school and he made his first film.
Yeah. I was excited in the way that, like, a casual fan's really excited.
Yes.
Like, I'm laying the groundwork to kind of, like, we're going to discuss the fan experience here in a minute, but, like, I was so excited, but I wasn't digesting all the media in the way that I know you probably were, because it was also a lot, like, in line with what you do in your professional life, too, which is marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time, I worked for Disney, so...
I was 21 and figuring out who I am. I hadn't graduated college yet. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Wow. But it totally makes sense that...
I was still a year off
it was almost like, you know how we ask our guests, when you were going through your teenage years, did Star Wars go into hibernation for you, or was it like loud and proud throughout?
Yeah.
And I think it was a little bit in hibernation for you. And
a little bit.
This was like pulling it back out.
Oh, yeah.
Which totally makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after I saw it, but we'll get there. Anyway.
Yes.
Toys R Us.
Pardon?
I do think we should talk about the Toys R Us commercial, because that's not even a store that exists anymore. So just like for like historical record keeping, that's how different of a world we're talking about. There were still brick and mortar toy stores.
Well, it was also, I think, one of the last times where Toys R Us did a real, like, giant release day of the toys. Because I remember when they were released, I drove out to Toys R Us and saw the display, walked around, bought maybe a couple figures. Since The Force Awakens, I don't think they have done the same kind of toy release, especially for Mando, because there's no Toys R Us anymore. Well, I think one of the things Toys R Us did with that they had a commercial, and it was a dad and a daughter, and the dad was like trying to get the daughter to like Star Wars, and she just wasn't. And then they go to the toy store, and he's like, "Daughter, where are you?" And he turns a corner, and she's standing there with Kylo Ren's lightsaber held up in the air. I think she's kind of dressed reminiscently of Rey from the first movie. And he gives her this kind of stunned look, like, oh, she loves Star Wars now. And he goes, I am your father. And it like both hits nostalgia as well as says, hey, this is an on-ramp for the next generation of fans. Don't worry, they'll all cry in 2 years when they're reading the internet because everyone hates them.
Well, let's talk about
I'm taking that out.
No, it was a segue into what was coming.
Yeah.
Let's chat. What was like the initial fan reaction online? You were a little bit more plugged into it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I was a little more plugged into it. The one thing I remember the most, the negative, was the reaction to Finn.
Yeah.
As a stormtrooper. And it's tough to say. I still don't get. I don't get it. It's like I just didn't.
Sorry, what? Who said that?
I mean, beyond the obvious racism.
Yeah.
I don't I don't even understand how you can cover that up with like, oh, there can't be black stormtroopers. It's like,
well, and hidden behind this narrative of like, well, we're seeing the stormtrooper faces, we're not supposed to. And you can't help but raise an eyebrow at that commentary.
Yes.
Like, would you really be saying that if, Matt Damon took off the mask? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was just, I just remember the furor, F-U-R-O-R, of that. I'm just impressed that I used that word. I pronounced it close to correctly, and I used it correctly. I thought, well, this is probably going to die down, and god damn, was I wrong.
I think it still exists.
It still exists. And then another big negative was the hilt of Kylo's lightsaber. Everyone was freaking out about that, like, oh, there's no way that would work. And
I'm sorry. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It was very Viking.
It was very Viking, and it's very kind of like the double-bladed lightsaber from that Darth Maul had. It's like, how do we improve upon the lightsaber beyond changing the color? And
also,
it was like,
how perfect for Kylo's character that he had to have these like extra little blades out to the side that didn't serve like a ton of purpose but looked good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what?
Yes.
I can't think of a more toxic masculinity like item than Kylo Ren's like excess lightsabers. Like, in so many creative storytelling ways, his lightsaber actually made a fuckload of sense. But anyway.
Yes. Well, it's also the fact that it
also looked very cool. But
yeah, it looked very cool. Yeah. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and I think that's the cigar in the case. It's like, this looks cool, fine. Let's do it.
And it was it extra as hell? Yeah. Do I appreciate that about Kylo? A little bit.
Yes, exactly. And then I when finally the Chewie We're Home came out, everyone loved that. But or maybe I'm just blind. I'm just misremembering it because
I remember that.
I loved it so much.
Did you have any spoilers going into the movie?
The only spoiler I remember looking one day, like going, maybe I'll just peek at this. And I saw that it was Han Solo died. And I was like, that only makes sense. And I hate it. And I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And after I read that, I was like, no more spoilers for me.
Yeah. How deflating.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you have any spoilers or?
No. I'm actually like, going and seeing it in theaters was so exciting. I had only watched the trailers. I completely ignored early reviews. I did not click on anything that looked like it was baity in some kind of way. And I can't stress enough. I think I've said it enough already. I was not chronically online, quote unquote, as much 2014 to 2015. The only social platform I was regularly on was Instagram, and I didn't even feel like that had like a lot going on.
No,
at the
it's
time.
More like pictures of food back then, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't even really have a video yet.
Yeah, it kind of had its own renaissance, I'd say, around like even a year later, like 2016, 2017. But at the time, I really wasn't online a lot. So I was pretty focused on Taylor Swift's new 1989 album and the subsequent world.
Was that 2015?
Well, 2014 is when the album came out and then she toured. Yeah. So I was pretty focused on that as well.
Yes,
and the other thing I was extremely excited for in the world of 2015 was the Jurassic World, the relaunch to Jurassic Park, because that's my other big love.
Yes.
So I was just excited about stuff, but I wouldn't say that I wasn't searching it out, and I didn't have any need to. I wasn't doing like a show like this, like where, being plugged in is important. Like I just was like, I had my tickets. Bought them when they went on sale, and I have my ticket. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It was a pretty great way to kick things off. Can't say the other movies weren't spoiled, but The Force Awakens was not.
I remember I sat with the cast from Rebels at the Disney Friends and Family screening.
Crazy.
Because Vanessa invited me. It was like 2 days before. It was the week of the premiere. It was before the Friday where it came out. I want to say it was Tuesday night, and the premiere was Wednesday night, I think, or Monday. I don't know. And man, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I walked out of that theater so excited. I just could not think straight. I bought 2 popcorn buckets. They had these metal popcorn buckets. One of them was like Star Wars.
Back when they were still cool. Yeah.
And they were actual buckets.
Yeah, you could actually get out of them.
That was fantastic. It really did feel like Star Wars was back in a big way.
Well, going back though, so the the teasers are dropping.
Yes.
What stands out to you? So you have it spoiled that Han Solo's dying, but you're still excited. What stands out?
That was late. That was probably September of 2015.
Got it.
So like 3 months before it came out.
Yeah.
The teaser trailers, I was never much of a freeze framer.
I love a space bar pause.
For me, when we did this, when we were writing the outline, and I went back and watched that teaser trailer again, the moment the Millennium Falcon is like, shoo, and flies, I think it's overhead and down and up. Oh my God, that still gets me. I'm still like, yes, that scene is still incredible.
Yeah, it felt like Star Wars was back in a very big and exciting way. For me, the moment that stood out the most, I think it's in the second teaser trailer. It's fast, but there's a moment where the stormtroopers turn and they're underneath the New Order flags.
Yes.
And at the time, I was still in college, as I said, so I was working on my minor in film, and it was really giving Triumph of the Will. Because I was doing this whole like art and morality class. Anyway, so I had watched Triumph of the Will. And I saw this like around the same year, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh my God, are we going to actually get like some fucking hard-hitting Star Wars?
Yes.
Are we going to get some serious messaging?" And I was so excited. Also, BB-8.
Also, BB-8. Yes.
BB-8 was like everything was BB-8. Yeah, me and everyone else wanted to be BB-8's best friend. Yeah.
Yes. And they did so much, and like. Oh, that was another big thing about the pre leading up to the premiere was how much they kept saying, "Oh, we're doing practical effects. This is going to be practical effects. We're doing practical effects." There was this big magazine spread of Maz Kanata's fortress and all the aliens there, and I think that was another thing. It's like, look, we have all these people in rubber masks, essentially. Don't worry, we're not going to have like CGI Yoda.
Yeah. Like it was going to be much more real.
Yes.
Another reason why
practical.
Tyler's conversation made us think of this as a topic today was that it was far more gritty. But of course, everybody, because we're kind of going back to the time of 2015, everybody having access to a platform meant that everybody had access to sharing their opinions and their expectations very loudly. And I think that where maybe in like hindsight, I don't know if it was just too much runway, but having 3 years between the announcement and the actual like story hitting theaters, all that speculation, like, I don't know. I don't know if it was a help or a hindrance.
Part of me is like, did Disney open a genie's bottle that should have remained closed? Did they open Pandora's box in the sense of, the reason they announce it and have 3 years of lead up time is to make sure everyone can sees the message. You need to go see Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the double-edged sword of marketing. It's like you start too soon, you could lose excitement. Yeah. Start too late, not everyone knows. But it was also entering this new age because now that I think about it, I was not on social like I am now.
Yeah.
As like I visited websites, but I wasn't on social. And I think social is where a lot of where the anger is.
Yeah.
Social is essentially the Dagobah dark side cave.
They didn't have to deal with social media at all in the prequel release.
No.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
I think my dad was still carrying a beeper when those movies came out. Like, I'm not even kidding.
I think I was carrying a beeper when those movies came out.
So, like, it's a dawn of a new era. Like, I think it was the first time Disney had to market with this new landscape.
Yeah. And not knowing what the landscape was. Yeah. Like, I don't think any of us knew what the landscape was going to be and how it could turn on.
And how quickly it continues to. Oh my God.
Yes,
I feel like I got a master's degree in communications and digital media that I'm not going to say is completely useless now, because obviously I learned a lot of great things and I carry them with me every single day and I use it in my job every day. But to say that was timely is also ridiculous.
Yes.
Or sorry, timeless is also ridiculous. Like, it's changing every year, every day. Yeah.
It is. And like, I was thinking of doing this for Dave's Dark Side. I don't know, but I'm going to say it here. Mm-hmm. But with the Supergirl conversation going on, and let's not call it a conversation, with the Supergirl spouting of stupidity going on the internet right now, on social media, I realized what it is it doesn't matter what the subject is. If it's Supergirl, if it's Rey, if it's last year's Superman. What it is everything's a recreation of that meme that like blew up, one of the first memes to blow up, which was the blue dress or gold dress. And people were like, I see a blue dress. And other people are like, I see a gold dress. Well, that's all this is now. We're just
that dress was 100% blue.
and people are just like picking a side and then loudly defending it as opposed to coming to conclusions on their own. Yeah. And I do believe The Force Awakens, I think actually Last Jedi is much more the starting point for that, but Force Awakens, the prequel.
Yeah. So everyone joins in. The stage is crazy loud.
Yes.
We've talked, I think, a little bit about this. I feel like I was just blindly happy. I don't think I was as attuned to a lot of this.
I wasn't.
Well, would you say you were also, or like what what was your expectations walking into that theater with Vanessa?
I don't remember having expectations for this one. I was hoping to have I want to feel like I was watching Star Wars, and I couldn't even tell you what that means now. I felt like I was 11. You know what it was? It's just, this is what I look for in movies now. Does it make me giddy? Does it just like make me go, oh, that's funny or cool or neat or impresses me or surprising, makes me think, and that's what it did. It really did. Like, first of all, seeing Star Wars with that fanfare was so exciting. And then to see episode 7, The Force Awakens, it's just like, oh my God, there's a new crawl. Yeah. What is it going to be? And I think one of the biggest surprises for me is how long it took us to get to Luke Skywalker. But
so facts.
I totally understand why. My feeling now is, if as soon as you have Luke Skywalker walk on the screen, everything's about him. Nothing else matters. And so to like let your new cast grow, you have to give them space. Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But understandable.
You touched on how you experienced it. So my whole family and I went together. We went with a ton of friends. Like, I feel like I was there with a bunch of people I knew from high school. Like, it was almost like, so we actually went to our little small town theater. We did the whole like Blockbuster experience thing. Like, I remember standing on this, like the sidewalk waiting to go in. One screen theater in town. I feel like I was in there with like just 100 people that I knew. So many friends from high school, like so much community, like everyone was so excited to come out and see The Force Awakens. It was the first time I was experiencing Star Wars in the theater where I could actually fully experience it as a fan and not just like a kid that was like really excited about Star Wars. Like I had adult money a little bit. I mean, I was still in college, but like I was a little bit more aware of like the significance of what was happening and very much like invested in that. And I also was able to see like it in the kids' faces. Like, I was experiencing like me at that age, like in like a reflection kind of a way. And seeing little girls especially getting excited about Star Wars, something that like I always kind of, I think, kept to myself and never really had. I didn't have other like friends that were girls that played Star Wars with me. Like, it was my sister and me, and like they were blended with the Polly Pockets, you know? And just seeing them get excited about Star Wars because of Rey was very emotional in a weird way. Not a weird way. Sorry, it was very emotional. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to like state it as fact.
It was good to see.
It was good to see. It just felt good. And it was exciting to have like movies in theaters again that I was excited to see. Again, Jurassic Park was also back that year. I have thoughts about that movie, but it was still like, it was a fun year for film. And Star Wars was no exception. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't in our sheet, but it's like I'm kind of like thinking through our whole conversation here, and I feel like maybe to wrap this up, like what is it that we can learn from our experience as fans in 2015 and like the world of 2015 as The Force Awakens that was coming out that we should probably like try to retain moving forward? Like, what
I
did
think
we
that's
lose?
a really great question.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I think it's the novelty. I think we've lost a lot of the novelty.
How do you mean?
Like,
expand on that.
I think everyone getting a voice is a very powerful, wonderful thing. Obviously, we have a podcast. We are using our voices on the internet.
Yes. Yeah, true.
But I do think that it crosses into a place of you're just wanting to be heard rather than you maybe have something significant to say.
Yep. I 1000% agree with that.
And what has that done to our perception of stories that we were otherwise excited to see when it's so dominant, like it's every other video on our feed? I have not seen Supergirl yet. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I heard that they were making Supergirl, and I was watching the development of this project. I was excited by the trailer. I wasn't able to go see it first weekend. I still haven't been able to get out to a theater. I would be lying if I said the criticism online that I've tried desperately to avoid, but I just can't. If you are on the internet, you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Has tainted my excitement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like...
And I like that you used the word taint.
Well, it's like lessened my excitement.
Yes.
It's colored it in a way that, like, feels,
feels
unfair.
Like, why is this? Yeah, unfair. I think that's a great word.
So I kind of miss the experience of, like, 2015, where you actually had the Discovery. Thank you.
Yes. I think that's what I 1000% agree with you. And what you're saying about, I feel as though social has ruined our ability to have an honest reaction to
that is
to something.
The very concise and well put way of what I was just trying to say. I love that.
It just sucks. Even now, in my stupid head, I'm like, oh, this is going to make a good clip for social. And now I'm like, do I include this part and be super meta? And I probably will.
We probably will. We probably will.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we've lost our sense of discovery because everything has to be everywhere. We've lost our ability to have an honest reaction unless you, like, just go right away.
I think what we're circling around here is that there's no solution to this problem, and we certainly can't stop it from happening, but maybe the message to those who are still listening
click,
right? And for ourselves is to like what you like unapologetically.
Yes.
It's okay if no one else got it. Maybe it wasn't made for them. And I think that's easier said than done sometimes because, like I said, I'm like already like, oh God, am I going to like Supergirl? Everyone else seems to like have all these issues with it. And like I have that apprehension going in, trying to like let that go and just tap back into the girl that was so excited a year ago to find out that this movie was being made. I think that's my message for our audience today is I strongly urge you to go back to like 2015 and before and just be excited about stuff and like what you like and don't like what you don't like. But, maybe if you're going to put it on the internet, have a constructive reason for why that is.
Yes. I get really tired of the quote unquote conversation. Because it's not a conversation, it's just picking a side and yell loudly. Like someone sent me a reel of a Supergirl hater, and it was like, this wasn't the only problem with Supergirl. It also was, and I was like, you know what? I'm out. As soon as you come at me shouting, here's the other thing. As I've been writing this back to some friends, as soon as they make a movie, let me know. When this person makes a movie,
just gonna say,
let me know. I will buy a ticket.
I don't think that the majority of the people criticizing art actually understand what it takes to make a movie.
No, totally.
I come from a production background, not in feature films, and I can tell you the little corporate stuff I used to do was exhausting enough. I cannot fathom what it takes to make a blockbuster level film.
Yeah.
So maybe sit down.
no one takes that challenge into consideration.
Mm-mm.
And it doesn't mean like, oh my God, you worked so hard, you get a participation trophy.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's just like throttle down a little bit on...
But don't act like it's easy either.
Don't act like it's easy. Like you would walk into the room with your ideas and blow away all these executives and directors and ADs and stuff and actors going, oh my God, you're right. We should have had the same color palette as the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, it was a topic of conversation for a long time. And for whatever reason, it was decided to do X.
The only person that can do that is Patton Oswalt. And he did.
Yes. So that's what Star Wars means to us this week. We didn't do a Dave's Dark Side, mostly because... we
kind of both did our own dark side.
Yeah. I think our whole Into the Data Pad was a little bit of Dave's Dark Side. And then want to thank Tyler again for sharing his Star Wars story with us. Again, such a pleasure to talk to him. Look for his stuff online. He's at beyond.the.cinema.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Tyler a lot. You should go follow him.
And then next week, we have Luke Winchester. He's a stage host, content creator, and entertainment journalist. And he's worked with brands on content for Skeleton Crew, Monarch, Nintendo, and more. And he's going to join us to tell us, what does Star Wars mean?
Yeah, so until next time, I'm with you. It feels wrong to not let you say it first.
I'll go in with you this time.